The morning sun cast a golden hue across the grove where Buddha and his disciples sat in serene contemplation. Birds sang harmoniously, their melodies echoing through the ancient forest. As a gentle breeze carried the scent of blooming jasmine, Buddha, robed in simple garb, sat cross-legged under the vast Bodhi tree, its branches shading the gathering with their calming presence. His eyes, filled with compassion and wisdom, scanned the faces of his attentive disciples. Today, Buddha began, his voice steady and warm. We will speak of the seed of awareness, sown in mindful eating. The disciples leaned closer, their curiosity kindled by his words. Buddha picked up a single grain of rice from a wooden bowl resting before him. He held it delicately, as if it were the most precious treasure in the world. This grain, he said, holding it aloft, carries within it the essence of the earth, the rain, and the sun. He let a moment of silence settle over the group, allowing the weight of his words to seep into their hearts. Then, he continued, to eat is not merely to feed the body. It is to connect with the vast web of existence. The disciples nodded, their faces thoughtful. One of them, Rahu, dared to ask, Master, how can we see this web of existence in a single grain of rice? Buddha's lips curled into a gentle smile. Come, he said, motioning for Rahu to approach. And I will show you. Rahu rose hesitantly, his steps cautious, and knelt beside Buddha. The master placed the grain of rice in Rahu's open palm. Close your eyes, Buddha instructed, and imagine the journey of this single grain. Rahu obeyed, his breathing steadying as he focused on the rice. Buddha's voice guided him softly. See the farmer who planted the seed. His hands coarse yet steady as he tilled the soil. Picture the rain clouds, heavy with water, nurturing the sprout as it reached for the sky. Feel the warmth of the sun, its rays infusing life into the growing stalk. Rahu's face softened, his mind painting vivid images of the scenes Buddha described. The master continued, imagine the harvester, laboring under the hot sun, gathering the rice with care and determination. See the hands that transported it, the merchants who ensured it reached this bowl. Buddha paused, allowing the imagery to take root in Rahu's consciousness. Then, he said, now, open your eyes, and tell me what you see. Rahu's eyes fluttered open, and he gazed at the grain in his palm with newfound reverence. Master, he said, his voice tinged with awe, this grain is not just food. It is life itself, woven from countless efforts and elements. Buddha's smile widened, and he inclined his head approvingly. Indeed, Rahu, to eat mindfully is to honor the interconnectedness of all things. The disciples murmured among themselves. Inspired by Rahu's transformation, Buddha raised his hand, silencing the group gently. Let us practice this awareness together, he said, his tone inviting yet firm. He gestured to the wooden bowls of rice before each disciple. Take a single grain, he instructed, and hold it in your palm as Rahu did. Close your eyes and journey with it. The grove grew quiet, save for the soft rustling of leaves and the occasional chirping of crickets. Each disciple followed Buddha's guidance, their expressions shifting as they imagined the intricate dance of nature and humanity within the humble grain. After some time, Buddha spoke again, his voice resonating with gentle authority. Now, take this grain to your lips. Taste it not with hunger but with gratitude and mindfulness. The disciples placed the grains into their mouths, their movements deliberate. They chewed slowly, their senses fully attuned to the texture, flavor, and essence of the rice. A profound stillness enveloped the gathering, as if time itself had paused to witness their practice. Buddha observed them with a serene expression, his heart filled with compassion for their efforts. In this act, he said, you are not merely nourishing your bodies. You are cultivating awareness and gratitude, feeding your very souls. One disciple, Ananda, broke the silence hesitantly. Master, is it possible to live each moment with such mindfulness, even beyond eating? Buddha turned his gaze to Ananda, his eyes shining with understanding. Mindfulness is not confined to eating, Ananda. It is a way of being, a path to liberation. He gestured toward the surrounding forest. When you walk, feel the earth beneath your feet. When you breathe, feel the air filling your lungs. When you speak, let your words flow from a place of truth and compassion. The disciples listened intently, their minds absorbing his teachings like parched earth drinking rain. Buddha continued, every moment offers an opportunity to awaken. Begin with small acts, and let mindfulness ripple outward into all aspects of your life. The sun climbed higher in the sky, its light filtering through the canopy of leaves. Buddha's voice softened as he concluded, mindful eating is the seed. From this seed, a tree of awareness can grow, bearing the fruit of peace. The disciples bowed deeply, their hearts swelling with gratitude for Buddha's wisdom. They resolved to carry his teachings into their daily lives, their practice of mindfulness extending far beyond the grove. As the gathering dispersed, Buddha remained seated under the Bodhi tree, his presence a beacon of serenity and enlightenment. Birds continued their songs, and the gentle rustle of leaves seemed to echo the wisdom shared that morning. In the quiet aftermath, the grove felt forever changed, imbued with the sacred essence of mindful awareness. The seed of Buddha's teaching had been sown, destined to grow and flourish in the hearts of his disciples. Another day, another morning, the disciples gathered under the vast Bodhi tree as sunlight danced through the forest canopy. The air was crisp, carrying the scent of dew-kissed leaves, and a gentle breeze stirred the calm surroundings. Buddha sat serenely, his presence radiating peace and wisdom, his gaze soft yet penetrating. He observed the disciples, noticing Rahu eating his rice hurriedly, his movements unsteady and rushed. Buddha raised his hand, halting the group, and called Rahu forward with a gentle motion. Rahu, why do you devour your food as though chased by the wind? His voice was calm but firm. Rahu hesitated, his eyes lowered in shame. Master, I was hungry and sought to satisfy my need quickly, he admitted, his voice barely audible. Buddha smiled faintly, his compassion shining through. Come, he said, beckoning Rahu closer, and I shall share a lesson in balance and nourishment. The disciples leaned in, their curiosity piqued as Rahu knelt before Buddha, his hands resting nervously on his lap. Buddha began, let me tell you a story of a tree and its fruits. A lesson in haste and carelessness. He paused briefly, ensuring their attention was fully captured, and continued, in a village far from here, there stood a tree whose fruits were the sweetest anyone had ever tasted. The villagers, eager to enjoy its bounty, rushed to pluck the fruits, ignoring those that fell to the ground. Buddha's voice grew softer, imbued with a hint of sorrow. They trampled the fallen fruits underfoot, their haste blinding them to the abundance already before them. The tree, disheartened by their disregard, began to withhold its fruits, and eventually, it withered. Rahu's face reflected his understanding, and Buddha placed a hand gently on his shoulder. Rahu, your body is like the tree, and food is its fruit. If you consume without thought or care, you risk depleting the energy that sustains you. He gestured toward Rahu's bowl of rice. Pick a single grain and hold it between your fingers. Feel its weight, its texture, its essence. Rahu obeyed, his movements slow and deliberate, as he lifted a grain of rice and examined it closely. Now, place it on your tongue and chew it slowly, Buddha instructed, his tone patient and guiding. Allow its flavor to unfold, its nourishment to reach every corner of your being. Rahu did as he was told, his chewing deliberate, his expression thoughtful as he experienced the grain's subtle taste. "Master," Rahu said, his voice steady now, "I see now that haste clouds the richness of the present moment. This single grain carries profound meaning." Buddha nodded approvingly, his eyes filled with warmth. "Indeed, Rahu, to eat mindfully is to honor the gift of sustenance and the body it sustains." He turned to address the entire gathering, his voice resonating with clarity. "Disciples, practice the middle way in all things, including nourishment, not too much, not too little, but with balance and awareness." Buddha rose gracefully, his movements flowing like water, and began to walk among the disciples, observing their bowls of rice. "Let this meal be a meditation," he said, his tone inviting yet firm. "Each bite is an opportunity to align with the rhythm of existence." The disciples followed his guidance, their actions slow and mindful, their senses fully attuned to the simple act of eating. The grove was silent but for the faint rustle of leaves and the occasional chirping of birds, a testament to their collective focus. After some time, Buddha spoke again, his voice weaving through the air like a gentle stream. "The middle way is not merely about balance in eating. It is a principle that governs all aspects of life." He paused, his gaze resting on Ananda, who had been listening intently. "Ananda, share your thoughts on what the middle way means to you," Buddha said. Inviting reflection, Ananda cleared his throat, his voice steady yet humble. "Master, I understand the middle way as a path of moderation, avoiding extremes, and embracing harmony in all actions." Buddha smiled, his approval evident. "Well spoken, Ananda. Remember, the middle way is not a compromise but a profound alignment with the truth." He gestured toward the forest, its vastness a symbol of life's boundless possibilities. "When you walk this path, you remain grounded yet open, neither clinging to desires nor rejecting them entirely." The disciples nodded, their understanding deepened by Buddha's words. He continued, his voice imbued with wisdom. "Nourishment, like the middle way, sustains both body and spirit when approached with mindfulness and respect." The sun climbed higher, its rays filtering through the leaves, casting dappled patterns on the forest floor. Buddha's teachings had once again sown seeds of understanding in the hearts of his disciples. As the meal concluded, Buddha bowed gently before the gathering, his humility a reflection of his inner strength. The disciples bowed in return, their gratitude evident in their expressions. They dispersed, each carrying the lesson of balance and mindful nourishment into their daily lives, their hearts transformed by the wisdom of their master. The grove, now quiet and still, seemed to hold the echoes of Buddha's words, a sacred reminder of the middle way. Another day, another lesson awaited as Buddha and his disciples prepared to share a meal in the bustling village square. The villagers gathered eagerly, their eyes filled with respect and curiosity, as they observed the serene assembly of monks. Buddha's presence exuded calm, his robes flowing lightly in the gentle breeze that carried the scent of freshly cooked rice. As the sun ascended the sky, painting it a soft gold, Buddha raised his hand to address the gathering. "Today," he began, his voice steady and clear, "we shall learn the art of mindful eating through the act of sharing." His disciples listened intently, their bowls of rice resting humbly in their hands. While the villagers leaned closer to hear his words, Buddha gestured toward the meal prepared by the village, its simplicity a reflection of the community's offerings. "This food," he said, his tone imbued with gratitude, "is a gift born of the labor and kindness of many hands." He paused, allowing his words to settle in the hearts of his listeners. Before continuing, to eat mindfully is to honor not only the food but also the beings who contributed to its creation. The disciples nodded, their expressions thoughtful as they contemplated the profound interconnectedness Buddha described. He turned his gaze to a young villager seated nearby, a child holding a small clay bowl with trembling hands. Buddha smiled gently and motioned for the child to approach. "Come closer, my dear one," he said, his voice warm and inviting. The child hesitated briefly before stepping forward, their wide eyes filled with wonder. Buddha knelt slightly, bringing himself to the child's level, and spoke softly. "What is your name, little one?" The child replied, "My name is Sita, Master," their voice barely above a whisper. Buddha's smile deepened, and he placed a hand gently on the child's shoulder. "Sita, would you share the story of how this food came to your bowl?" Sita looked uncertain at first, but Buddha's reassuring presence gave them courage. "My mother cooked this rice early this morning," Sita began, their words gaining strength with each sentence. "She said the grain came from the fields near the river, where many villagers worked together during the harvest." Buddha nodded, his eyes shining with encouragement. "You see," he said, addressing the disciples and villagers, "even this simple meal carries a tale of collaboration, effort, and care." He rose gracefully and turned to the assembly, his voice resonant with authority. "Let us eat together, not as individuals, but as a community united by this gift of sustenance." The disciples and villagers began to eat, their movements deliberate and mindful, as Buddha continued to speak. "In mindful eating, there is a profound opportunity to cultivate compassion," he said, his tone inviting yet firm. "When you savor each bite with gratitude, you honor the unseen hands that made your meal possible." He gestured toward the villagers, his eyes filled with warmth. "And when you share this awareness with others, you create ripples of kindness and understanding that extend far beyond the moment." The villagers exchanged glances, their hearts touched by Buddha's words. As they ate with renewed appreciation for the food before them, Buddha noticed a disciple, Ananda, observing the villagers with a thoughtful expression. "Ananda," he called, his voice gentle yet commanding. "What stirs in your heart as you witness this gathering?" Ananda hesitated briefly before replying, "Master, I see how the simple act of eating together fosters connection and harmony among all present." Buddha inclined his head, his approval evident. "Indeed, Ananda, the act of sharing a meal is more than physical nourishment. It is a gift of presence and unity." He turned to the entire assembly and continued, "When you eat alongside others, your calm presence inspires them to eat mindfully, creating a shared space of peace and gratitude." The sun climbed higher, its rays filtering through the trees, casting dappled patterns on the gathering below. Buddha's voice softened as he imparted his final teaching of the day. Compassion flows not only through grand gestures but also through the smallest acts. Like eating with awareness and gratitude. He gestured toward the child, Sita, who sat quietly among the villagers. "Even this young one teaches us that the journey of food is a journey of connection," he said, his tone tender. "Remember, each meal offers an opportunity to nourish both body and spirit while fostering compassion for all beings." The disciples and villagers bowed deeply, their hearts swelling with gratitude for Buddha's wisdom and guidance. As the meal concluded, Buddha knelt once more before Sita, his gaze filled with kindness. "Thank you, Sita, for reminding us of the beauty in simple acts of care and community." Sita smiled shyly, their cheeks flushed with pride. As Buddha rose and addressed the assembly one final time, "Carry this lesson into your lives, and let each act of nourishment become an expression of compassion and interconnectedness." The disciples and villagers dispersed, their spirits lifted and their hearts transformed by the teachings they had received. As the grove returned to stillness, the echo of Buddha's words lingered in the air, a sacred reminder of the power of mindful eating and shared presence. The seed of compassion had been sown, destined to flourish in the hearts of all who had gathered that day. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.